Welcome to another one of my Own Your Expertise interviews. I'm Emily Crookston, owner and decider of all things at the Pocket PhD. I'm the ghostwriter for Rebels, Renegades, and Mavericks, and I love helping experts with big ideas get those ideas out of their heads and into the hands of their fans. Today I'm sitting down with Gertrude Nonterah. Gertrude is a science writer for CG Life. She is part of a content strategy team that creates blogs, eBooks, presentations, and other marketing content for billion-dollar life and health sciences companies. She's also the host of the Create and Prosper podcast. Gertrude, thank you for speaking with me today. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about who you work with and what you do?
You're absolutely right. I am a science writer for CG Life. I prior to that, I had been a freelance writer for years, and then this role came along, and it was such a dream role. I had to jump into it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I love to do, apart from writing and apart from talking about my entrepreneurial journey and jobs, is really empowering PhDs and grad students to see that there is life beyond academia, that hopefully, what I share with my LinkedIn profile, for instance, and a YouTube channel that I recently started, will empower other people on that journey to see that there's so much more out there.
So it's great to sort of remind people that there's a whole world out here of other things to be doing. So tell us a little bit more about your path to becoming the expert you are today. Yeah.
The story is that back in 2015, I finished my PhD and moved to San Diego, California. I completed my PhD at Temple University in Philadelphia, then moved all the way across the country,
Wow.
the other end, to come and work in San Diego. Everything is super expensive, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned quickly that I was doing a postdoc at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned quickly that I needed to somehow supplement my income. So I had already been blogging on the side. I think during my last year of my PhD, I started a blog. And so leveraging that blog, I actually started a freelance business, and I was managing social media. So I was writing social media content as well as blog posts. And then in 2017, I completely transitioned from social media to really writing content. I was just working with all these smaller companies, and I was just writing content for them. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I loved every minute of it. And so I did that as freelance until recently, actually.
Okay.
And in 2018, one of the great things about this path I'm talking to you about, that I started this freelance business, was somewhere in early 2018. One day our boss calls us, into a conference room, and he tells us, "Hey guys, funding has run out." And so for those of you that are watching this show and know about PhDs and about grad school and about postdocs, research is based on how much money you have to fund the research, right? And if you don't have money to fund the research, basically you don't have a job.
Yeah.
And so he was telling us that there's no more money to fund this research, and he has to write all these grants, but he can't write them quick enough to get the money. And so we were all going to be laid off in 90 days.
Wow.
And you know what? It had never happened to me before, that I was laid off a job for any reason whatsoever.
Right, sure.
So it was super shocking. But I didn't panic, because I had started this business on the side, and I was so grateful for that.
Yeah.
And so I was able to scale that business up a little bit immediately after we were laid off, and smooth sail, I would say, or transition really smoothly into working for myself. I've had to do a lot of self-learning. I've had to do a lot of buying courses, reading books, going to coaching experiences. I've had to invest in myself a lot to get to this point. Right. But it's all really paid off.
So it feels so serendipitous, but how smart to have a side hustle. And how many postdocs really have side hustles? I mean, I'm sure a lot more these days, but you're right that I think a lot of PhDs and a lot of people in academia don't often think about having a side hustle. They think, oh, that's going to take me away from the real work I'm trying to do or something. But it's such a good lesson that You know, at any moment your funding could be pulled. And I think the other bad part about it is people with PhDs think they aren't qualified to do other jobs. They think, you know, oh, I've got this very high degree, now I'm overqualified for anything else I could do, so there's like no way out. You know, they almost get trapped in that mentality of like, I guess I'm just gonna be, you know, barely scraping by for the rest of my life.
That's
Yeah.
the thing that kind of drives me, because I'm like, no, you know,
Exactly. Me too. Yeah, I hear that.
you know, and the reason why I say no is because I know what it's like to be in that mindset
Right. Me
that,
too. Yeah.
okay, all I can do is science. But the truth is, you were writing in grad school. That's a
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah.
You as a graduate student or as a PhD are a master researcher. That's an amazing skill.
Mhm.
You know, if you are, it doesn't matter which side of, whether you're in the humanities or social sciences or science, most likely you had to analyze data. That is a huge skill. So
Mhm.
one of the things I'm super passionate about is letting people realize you have all these hidden transferable skills that you didn't even know that you had. And if you would just look within yourself and see that you have those skills, a whole plethora of doors open, because you're like, I'm not stuck. I just have to find where I fit in.
Exactly. Yes, yes. So, how would you say you've learned to translate your expertise for others? I'm curious about this question for you as a writer.
Because you have a mind that can understand the concepts in that field, regardless of which topic is brought your way, you're able to pull on those skills and read and do your research to understand what is being said. I'm able to translate that knowledge. But one of the great things about I think one of my superpowers maybe is being able to take a complex idea and break it all the way down in a way that people don't feel like they're being talked down to,
Mhm.
but they're also getting very highly technical knowledge that allows them to keep moving on. So that's how I like to translate my knowledge, is
Yeah.
rely on my background and use that as a launch pad to understand everything else.
That is what I do in my writing now, right? Like I'm taking those complex ideas that my clients are shooting at me and I'm Googling them a lot of the time and trying to understand, you know, do that research, figure out what it is. And then I'm thinking from the audience's perspective, okay, what would be interesting to them? What will help them understand this concept? Last question. If you could go back in time and mentor your 20-year-old past self, what advice would you give to her?
So I would let her know that she was smart. I would let her know that her skills are valuable. And most importantly, like I was sharing earlier, that she can apply her skills to anywhere in life as long as she's willing to open up her mind to the fact that she's not stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But she has the world open up to her. She just has to reframe her mindset around everything she's been taught in the academic system.
Yeah, I think my younger self needed to hear similar things. It's interesting because, you know, I think part of the culture of academia is like this genius culture. So you are around people who are at the highest level, like top 1% of intelligent people in the country or in the world, even maybe. And that in and of itself can create all of these mindset challenges, right? And you know, it's constantly you feel like you're not good enough and you're not measuring up to everyone else. And then you get outside of that bubble and you realize, oh, right, I am part of that elite, intelligent number, people. And that to me gives me a lot of confidence. Well, Gertrude, I've really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you so much for chatting with me. Let us
Thank you
know,
so much for having me.
let people know where they can find out more about you if they're curious.
Absolutely. So, if you would like to follow the work that I do around PhDs, grad students, and all the things that are open to you, and my own experiences, even going through a PhD, you can check me out at the Bold Biomed. It's a YouTube channel. I'm also on LinkedIn, Gertrude Nonterah PhD. You can follow me there. Usually, I'll post about the channel, or I'll post about other things as well. So you can check me out there. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Gertrude.